Hiya friends, welcome back. Prepared Suburbanite here. Today is January 6th. It's one day after the Georgia senatorial runoffs, and as I record this at about 11 o'clock in the morning, the Democrats have solidly picked up one seat with Reverend Warnock beating out Kelly Loeffler, and the other race is still undecided, but it appears that there is enough votes for the Democrat to make it look like both Democrat seats that were in contention in Georgia are going to fall to the Democrats, giving them a majority in the Senate, a majority in the House, and giving them the executive offices in the White House, with Joe Biden being the president, and that's probably going to be certified this afternoon, with Kamala Harris being the vice president-elect officially. So, Benjamin Franklin was once quoted as, in response to a question after the convention that brought us the Constitution, he was asked, "What do we have, doctor? A monarchy or a republic?" And he said, "You have a republic if you can keep it." So stick around. I want to share some thoughts. So what just happened? I'm not 100% sure. I was up until about 2 or 2:30 this morning, as soon as they put the check mark next to Reverend Warnock's name, and then I just kind of fell asleep. And right now there still isn't any decision on the other race, but like I said before, the bottom line is it's pretty much all over, and looks like both Republican senator seats in Georgia have been lost to the Democrats. Now, what's that going to mean? Well, it's going to mean, well, I guess let me go here first. What happened? Well, I wish I knew what happened. I wish that people would use their own minds to think through issues, to think through problems, to understand history, to understand current events, to understand the political waves that go on in this particular country right now. But apparently they don't. I have seen over the last 4+ years a constant onslaught of rhetoric and hateful rhetoric against the president and against anybody that supports the president, or anybody that could even be remotely identified as a conservative or a Republican. And you've probably heard this a million different times over the last couple of weeks, that the whole Russian hoax thing, that didn't pan out to be anything. The Mueller report that was supposed to be the end-all cure-all for all the ills that Trump had caused, that didn't amount to anything. The whole impeachment hoax thing, by the time it was all said and done, they really didn't have anything impeachable there, and he was basically acquitted. He still carries the mark of being an impeached president, but that doesn't mean that he was convicted. It doesn't mean that he was run out of office. It just simply means that the House of Representatives filed an article of impeachment or two against him. So that constant onslaught from the Democrat Party, from the liberals, and more often from the very left has been instrumental, I think, in determining how the outcome of this particular vote today and the vote on November 3rd actually panned out. Couple that with mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC News, even of late Fox News, and a lot of the what were formerly conservative websites and things like that, like Drudge. It's been a constant battle to have any kind of objectiveness interjected into any kind of political conversation at all. And I'm very, very concerned about what's going to happen in the future is our voices have been drowned out already and will continue to be drowned out, only to be overtaken by the rhetoric and hateful nonsense from the very left. And I'm going to separate the left from the liberals. I think liberals are one thing, lefties, the leftist movement is something entirely more and more dangerous. But when you're talking about what's going to happen, when we're talking about what's going to happen in the future with this government, I'm afraid that we are going to have socialism coming out our ears, that we are going to raise taxes. I was just looking at the Democrat Party platform, and I highlighted a couple of things that I think are pretty important here. There's an index that goes from basically page 8 to page 92, thereabouts, on this particular document. This is the Democrat platform that they ran on, that they support, that they have promulgated back in July to serve as their issues for the future. And now that they have been successful, excuse me, now that they have been successful, what we've got is a movement to guarantee outcomes. Not guarantee opportunity, but to guarantee outcomes. Economic equality, that kind of a thing, is very much prevalent in pretty much everything that they're talking about when they're talking about a stronger and fairer economy. $15 an hour minimum wage is way out on top. Universal health care is right up there on top. And then they start getting into what they're planning to do with our individual rights. Rights that are God-given and are supposed to be protected by the Constitution. One of their issues on page 47 of their manifesto here is ending the epidemic of gun violence. They're going to treat gun violence as a public health issue. They want to institute universal background checks, and for those that don't quite understand what that means that they're going to outright ban private sales between consenting adults. They wish to end online sales of guns and ammo. They want to close loopholes that I'm not even sure are loopholes, but they want to close them anyway. They call the Charleston loophole the gun show loophole. And I'm not sure exactly how they can misunderstand what's really going on there, but they do. They want to ban, this one's the big one for me, ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines without any definition of what either one of those things is. They want to require safe storage mechanisms in private homes. And they want to remove the gunmaker liability shield. Now that shield is in place to protect firearms manufacturers from being accused of being complicit in a crime or being liable for a crime if their manufactured good is used in the commission of a crime. I don't know if that works the same way in the automotive industry or in the home improvement industry or in healthcare, anyplace else. But when we're talking about product liability, if my shotgun blows up, that's a manufacturing liability. If that shotgun gets used to harm someone or murder someone, the gun manufacturer had nothing to do with pulling that trigger. So, but right now, they're protected. The Democrats want to remove that protection from gun manufacturers. Next on their agenda is they want to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state. I spent a couple, 3 years working in Washington, D.C. when I was doing my consulting gig, and know how Democrat that city really is. So part of the issue there, and in direct conflict with what the founders intended the District of Columbia to be, as separate, independent, not a state, the Democrats want to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state. That's going to give them 2 more seats in the Senate, and they'll both be Democrat, I guarantee. Next item on their agenda, and I've skipped over a few, but next item on their agenda is guaranteeing self-determination for Puerto Rico. Now that's all flowery and nice and all that, but Puerto Rico just elected a brand new governor, and that governor's platform that he based his election on was to seek statehood. So it's very possible that in the next 4 years, we can have 2 additional states. So we can be the United Socialist States of 52, with Puerto Rico becoming a state. Both of those entities, both of those territories, one's a district and one's a territory, both of those are welfare dependent. And they cost us a lot of money already. They're going to cost us even more in the future. But the driving factor, in my estimation, is that they want to get the extra four senators into the Senate so that they can have a definitive majority for at least a generation. And that's pretty scary. Obviously, they've talked about this ad nauseum. They want to provide borrowers relief from crushing student debt. That's called loan forgiveness. Now, I took out a bunch of loans when I went to college, and I don't think I'm going to get any money back. I don't know about you, but I paid off my student loans. I paid off my wife's student loans. Well, we paid them off. And I don't think there's going to be any restitution for that. But folks that are entering college now or just recently got out of college or university, they're going to have some level of loan forgiveness. And they're talking $10,000 a year for maybe 5 years. And then some other things are going to kick in so that with wage income levels and stuff like that, where you can basically get the whole thing written off over a period of time. On the foreign scene, they want to reduce defense spending. Now, they talk all kinds of wonderful flowery language in this document, but the bottom line is they want to reduce spending on defense and turn it more into diplomacy and changes in the State Department and things like that. I'm not sure that that's going to work for us, but we'll see. They want to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement. They want to rejoin the World Health Organization. And they want to rejoin the Iranian nuclear deal, which I guess is entitled the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. I'm concerned we're going to lose a lot of our freedoms. I'm concerned that we're going to lose a lot of our rights, God-given rights that are supposed to be protected by the Constitution. I read through this whole thing, and I didn't see a single reference to anything having to do with supporting and defending the Constitution. And I guess maybe I need to read it again. Hopefully it's there, but I am very, very concerned about what's going to happen over the next 4 years. With all that said, if you're not prepared now with food, with water, with a place to call home, a shelter, with a means for property and self-defense, you don't have much time to get there. It's absolutely imperative. We're about 14 days from Joe Biden being sworn in as president and Kamala Harris being sworn in as vice president. That gives you about 2 weeks to really get ready, and then you're going to see the changes that they have promised, and I guarantee they will be radical leftist changes. This is the Prepared Suburbanite. Stay out of trouble out there. Be prepared always, and I'll see you all on the next video.